Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, July 15th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. What happened today? Continue to see massive volatility in the AI stocks, while while the broader market is okay, specifically the S&P 500 closing green on the day. Trend gauge market leaders neutral, short term, Russell 2000 mid caps battling at the 21 EMA, the medium term above the 50 and 200-day moving average. Final numbers 21 lists down about 2.16, green, 16 red, turbo 12 down 2.58%, 3 green, 8 red, 1 neutral. Mag 7 continues to be a highlight in the market right now, up another 2.3% on the day. I did a podcast section on that last Friday and just continue to see that relative strength. RG8 down 0.4. Revere AI 100 down 1.75, S&P up 0.38, Equate down 0.22, Qs down 0.27%, Equate down 0.41, Dow Jones Industrial Average up 0.25, mid caps flat on the day. Russell 2000 up 0.44%, 60/40 stock and bond up 0.29%, GROTECTION down 0.56% on the day. TurboTaxion essentially flat, down 0.06 on the day. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation. And if you were just to look at a chart, the S&P 500, you'd be like, what is going on in this market? It looks totally normal. Another really, really tight candle, consolidating right below all-time highs in a really nice base. So we're going to see what is going to happen, but this is MTUM's a better depiction of what's going on in the market, breaking the 50-day, and then meme, bunch of growth leaders here. And this had a huge drawdown. RSP hanging out at the highs, looking constructive. The Qs, again, make or break here. Looked like we were breaking down, didn't put in a big lower wick. And now this is quite the launch pad set up, the 821 and 50-day all super coiled up. See if this can take out that downtrend line. I will draw it so you guys can see, pretty clear declining tops trend line. This, would kind of trigger the breakout. But super tight. Can see this going either way. Mags, another really strong day today. Looking like it might test all-time highs here soon. Dow, tight candle at the highs. Mid caps, tight day. Russ 2000, tight day right at 21. ARC putting a hammer here off the 200-day. 82s needs to break out. VIX, vol continues to be low, sub 16, down another 5% today. The dollar pulling back a little bit. Really, if you're a bull on the dollar, you need to see this 100 spot hold. Gold just in a downtrend, same with GDX, same with silver. Bitcoin, another day of RS, still holding this UNR level, closed green on the day. And bonds in a long-term downtrend as well. And then watch rates against this level here. All right, let's take a look, tell the tape. We got PPI today, and June PPI came in at minus 0.3% versus 0.1% consensus. And then core PPI came in at 0.2% versus 0.4% consensus. And then tomorrow morning, we have retail sales. Today's keys, S&P holding above the 21, but not above 7,600. Qs right at 21 EMA, but holding the 50. Russ 2000 failing at the 8, but holding above the 21. And we continue to see the ATR, the S&P 500 come down, which is positive. Day count, consolidation 3, 12 days above the 8, 12 days above the 21. And today, 75.81 was the high day, and then we had a harsh sell-off, found support, bounced back up into the close. All in all, 55-point range on the S&P 500 today. Sectors-wise, retail, healthcare, equipment, airlines, regional banks, builders, all leading today. Weakness, high beta, rare earth, semiconductors, gold stocks. GROTECTION sold Dell, AMD, SoxL, and DRAM, trimmed Lilly, Datadog, Twilio, and then offensive trimmed Fortinet, 1.06 RVAB, estimated balance at risk stocks, minus 0.43%, Total minus 4.82%. TurboTection just sold DRAM 1.72 RVAB, estimated balance at risk for stocks minus 2.41. Total minus 5.99%. Bottom line, massive volatility in AI stocks continues. And with that, let's get straight into the charts. AMD, huge volatility. GROTECTION sold this day. I'm going to go to a 5 minute, and you can see kind of just a waterfall of selling off the open and then kind of bounce back up. And all in all, did hold above the 21 EMA. Dell as well, RS leader, right? And then just huge outside reversal day. Did hold the 21 EMA, but you can see just waterfall selling off the open. Semiconductors, same thing here, right? It's closed below the 821 and 50, but did put in a lower wick. And again, just huge selling volume off the open and then rallied back up and just shows this market's just been extremely choppy. And then memory, DRAM, right? Let's move all these. It just a lot of these charts are tough. It's just super choppy. They're holding the lower end of the range and then they're getting slammed at the upper end of the range. DRAM was selling off like everything I showed you super hard, 61 to 55, found some support and rallied a little bit into the close. Take a look at SanDisk here. Um, all in all, I held this 1500 spot. But, mid-afternoon looked like this one was going to break wide open to the downside. So take a look at Micron, kind of similar here, breaking the 50-day, rejecting that 1,000 level. It's just very, very tough environment for growth stocks, specifically AI stocks, with all this volatility. There's no trend. This is chop. This is base building or, building the stage three top. That's always hindsight. And the thing with chop is you always have to dip your toe into the water at logical low risk spots because you don't know when it's going to end. You can have a thesis, you can have some data, but at the end of the day you don't know when the market's going to get better. And so during these times, if you see a low risk spot, we'll try it and you can get stopped out rather quickly. But a lot of these charts just continue to be extremely choppy. Um, and tough to hold. Let's take a look at some of the other AI stocks. AOI, right? This is just awful action, down another 13%. This has been in a clear downtrend for weeks. Lumentum, same thing here. EWY, Korea, big gauge for the memory. Can argue this is in a downtrend. GLW, another AI name, just awful action, looked like a big base breakout, failed, and now, from 270 to sub 200 in a matter of days. Let's take a look at some other semi names, right? Intel at the bottom of the range. So, based on how this market is, this would be the area to try it. But not doing anything horribly wrong, but just in a big choppy range. Tough if you're buying strength or selling weakness. Marvell has really fallen apart. We tried this off the 50-day in turbo. This one failed, not looking too hot. And some other semiconductors. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. This one's holding up better with the Mag 7 bid. See if this can round back out. Avgo, again, kind of in a downtrend below the 50 days. This bear flag or this forming a new stage one base. All right, where was the strength today? Apple, look at this. New highs today. Continue higher out of the space. Microsoft had a decent day, still below the 200-day moving average, but not too bad. Amazon firming back up through the 50-day moving average. Meta, nice day here. Kind of moving higher out of this continuation flag after that catalyst last week. Tesla kind of in no man's land. Really watching this going back through the 200-day. And that downtrend line. And then biotech, decent bounce today. XBI, nice bounce off the 21 EMA. And then, take a look at Lilly, trying to hold, see if this can turn back up. AHR had earnings gap, but was up, about 40% at one point, closed the day up only 20%. So seeing quite the volatility there. Let's take a look at the leaders list. Hood, one of the better acting names on the list, holding the space breakout zone. GH getting tight at the highs. Rivian looked like it was trying to come back, squatted. Airbnb, big base. Bros again, squat. Really, summarized action today would be squat. Axon squatted, trying to bounce. CF putting a hammer in there. FTNT squat, but continuing higher. Snowflake pausing at that 280 level. Getting some lag here. Stand by. Datadog just kind of squatting at the highs, doing nothing wrong. Reddit undercut and reclaim of the 8 EMA. Twilio squatted as well. VLO continuing higher. Net squat, but could be an opportunity into the space high. Affirm just flagging after this big move through the 200-day moving average. AMD undercut and reclaim of the 21. ANET potentially looking like failed breakout. NTAP big squat today in that hardware space. Weakness with Dell. And that is the 21 Turbo 12 PNG. A lot of volatility since earnings. Ban, it's forming a handle here. WYFI total foul below the 50-day. Lemonade fouling as well. BlackBerry super tight here at the 21. Actually looks pretty good. Okta hanging out at the highs. Crowd just resting after a strong day. Oscar twist tight off 21. Frog, another one that's acting great. USO oil continues to tick higher. Something to watch. Then XMTR looking pretty good. This 100 level is pretty key on this one. So see if that can kind of get through that. AI 100, just see, AOI week, Dell week, CBRS looking like it might make new lows. WDC breaking the 50-day. SanDisk, Micron, Light, Marvell, AXTI. Look at that downtrend, 143 to 53. Sienna looking like it's heading in stage 4. You can see tons of volatility in the AI names. Definitely there's pockets of strength, right? Like regional banks look pretty good. Biotechs have been good. Airlines have been good. But and really the S&P as well has been good, hanging out at the highs. But bottom line is it's just been extremely choppy. There's massive volatility and really just just in one of those periods where it is a very tough dollar environment right now. And this is when you just try to, minimize the drawdown, keep the equity curve sideways until that good period does return, because it always does return. You just don't know when. So really, that is all I got for you guys today. Always like to hear from you. You can reach out to me at Connor@revereasset.com or reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates_. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching and have a great night.